Hey, it's Bethany with the Wandering Purl podcast, and welcome to episode 26. I don't know why I just said it like that, but here we are. I am filming this a little later than I normally do because it's been really hot, and we are now in Utah, so we are in the very middle of all the hot summer weather. We are missing Washington just a little bit, but yeah, we have moved, we've done all that cool stuff. So the AC had to be on because it's so hot, and we actually have a broken AC, so it's a little later. So you're probably going to see a lot of people walking behind me because once it gets cooler and a little darker, people start walking around and they're probably going to think, what the heck is that girl doing? So yeah, that's me. So if you do hear some buzzing in the background, I apologize, but like I said, we do have one AC that is broken, so we have some fans going, and we gotta stay cool. I can't turn it off. So that is what we have going on right now. I have a lot of finished objects to share with you today, which I'm really excited about, and I just have one work in progress. So we'll go through all of that and talk about life stuff at the end. So yeah, let's just get right to it. Technically, I have 9 finished objects to share with you, but I don't have them all with me. So we'll just jump right into that and I'll explain why. So last time I actually had 5 finished objects done in here, but I couldn't show you because they were being gifted to some of my friends in Washington. So I made my little Love and Stitches group that was in Washington that we met up with some yarn cozies. That's kind of a little goodbye just a little goodbye treat. So I made each of them a 100-gram yarn cozy, which is a pattern by Nitty Natty or Love and Stitches on Ravelry. And yeah, I really enjoyed making them, and my friend Jessica handed them out to everyone for me since I wasn't able to be at the dinner we were supposed to go to, or they went to it. I was supposed to go, but we had to move, so I wasn't able to go. But yeah, it was really fun to make those and to be able to have them have a little momentum of when I was not momentum, I don't know what word I'm looking for. They could have a little something from me. So that's what I did. We'll probably have popped a picture in for you already. But I did the 100 grams cozy size for each one, and I made 5 of them, and they took about 12 grams each of yarn, and it took me 2 hours and 35 minutes just about to make one cozy. So yeah, that is the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th yarn cozy 100 grams that I have made. I love them. They're great for using up scraps, which I have been doing so much of recently, and yeah, it was really fun to do that. So those are 5 finished objects technically, but they only have one Ravelry page because I think I can't handle that many Ravelry pages for something like that. So that was my first / fifth finished object for this time. Then the next finished object I have, you're going to be so excited to hear about, but it is my bluegrass shawl. So let's talk about details before I show you my finished object. But this is the bluegrass shawl by Wool and Pine. If you have been watching me, you know I've been working on this forever, and forever was May 16th. So I started this May 16th, used all scraps. I went through all of my scraps, almost all my scraps 2 times. Like some colors I was like, no, that's not going to fit, so I didn't use them. But here more or less I used them 2 times, and a few I used another time at the very end, just because I wanted to get a few more inches. So I ended up using a US 5, which is a 3.75 millimeter needle, and a US 6 4 millimeter needle. These are one size smaller than what the pattern calls for. So I think mine turned out a little smaller than it was intended to, but it's a shawl, so it doesn't really matter. I did use all scraps, and I ended up using 384 grams of scraps for this. So that's like 3.5 skeins of yarn, which is pretty cool that I used that much scraps in this project. And then I'll go through the blocking and unblocking size in just a minute, but I have it all right here for you. So it's turned out so pretty. Oh my goodness. It's really, really huge. It just keeps going and going and going. Yeah, I really like it. So it is just about the size that I want it. It has been far too hot here to be using it right now, but I think this fall winter is going to be so great. But yeah, I really like how it turned out. I love that it has all these different colors and is so scrappy. I know some people aren't a big scrappy fan. That's actually the wrong size that I'm wearing it. But I love this. I think it's really fun. This is better. So yeah, I did do the tassels on the end. So I did my tassels a little different than what the pattern calls for you to do. I tied them and then tied them again. And just kind of, you can see like some are not perfect. Like this one has one random little thing falling out. But yeah, it's super fun. So let's talk about how big it is. So I didn't make it as long as pattern called for. I ended up, before blocking, it was 64 inches long, and the edge right here, like this part right here, was 19 inches, and then the middle section was 15 inches. I don't know why it's shrunk in that much on the bottom, or in the middle, but it did. I mean, it's not, you can't tell at all. But then I blocked it, and it ended up stretching to 86 inches, and the cast on or bind off edging was 24 inches, and then the middle was 23.5 inches. So it gained a lot. So it gained a whole foot lengthwise, and then about 5 inches widthwise. So I think it's perfect. It's not too big, and it's definitely not too small. So I'm really so happy that it is off the needles. That is the main thing that I am happy about. I keep showing you the wrong side. But yeah, let's show it just one more time so you guys can get it, because it's probably going to be like a decoration for right now, because I just am loving how pretty it is. I love that I got to use up some scraps. I got to use up like more scraps. I have so many scraps still though. I have like 3 or 4 gallon like baggies full of scraps still. And yeah, it is what it is. I'm just gonna try to work through them for certain things, but yeah, I'm so glad to have this off the needles and completely done. Everything's weaved in. I have all the tassel bit done. So I would highly recommend this pattern. Wool and Pine does amazing job on their patterns. They have great tutorials. Their explanation of what to do is really great. And from what I've seen, the product turns out amazing as well. So I would definitely recommend this pattern. The next item that I have to show you, or finished object, is one that had been barely started the last time we talked, and it is the baby cardigan. So the pattern is actually called Baby Boys Raglan Cardigans by Star. I started the 711 and finished 731, and I used the yarn from my Salty Air Tea, which is Illimani, in the colorway 84 or Fawn. Really love this. It is a 85% cotton, 15% alpaca, and it is just so soft. So you can see this is what it looks like all caked up. I still have quite a bit left, like about half a skein. So I gotta find something to do with that. But I really, really love this yarn. I plan to use it again because it's a great summer fabric to use for those hot days. But I really loved it. So I made the 0 to 6 size, and I used a US 2 needle, 2.75, and a US 3, which is a 3.25 millimeter. And I made this, okay, just ignore the little handmade thing because it needs to be fixed because it's a little wonky. But this is the little cardigan I made. Is it not so cute? Look at that. I think that the yarn just displays this pattern so well. I'm really happy with how it turned out, but I'm not a huge fan of the pattern. The pattern was hard to understand sometimes. It wasn't very descriptive. Like, it just said, and now piece together. Didn't tell you how to piece it together. Like, didn't give you a suggestion or a tutorial or anything like that, because it was made in pieces. So it was made this first back piece, then you made each side of the front, and then you made each sleeve. Then you put it together, kind of, with putting, like, doing the collar is how you ended up putting it all together, and then you had to sew up like the sides and the bottom of the sleeves and things like that, and it just wasn't fun. Like, the pattern's really pretty, and like the explanation of the pattern stitch is good, worked perfect, but the extra bits of like putting it together and things like that, I would not recommend it, and I would also not knit it again. I ended up using 84 grams and 367.5 yards for this project. And this little handmade tag, I think I got from Knit Picks. If I can find the link, I'll have it linked down below for you. But I made this for my friend who's having a baby in October, a little baby boy. And I wanted to make her something. So this and the next two finished objects that I'm going to show you are for her and her little bundle of joy coming. So I hope she likes this. I hope baby boy can wear it a little bit this winter or fall, probably winter. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with how it turned out, but it's not perfect, and it was kind of annoying to make. So that's what I got to say for that, but I'm really happy that it's done. So the next finished object that I have is called the, I'm just calling it the baby hat on Ravelry, but it's called the Peachy Keen Baby Hat by Chloe Rip. And I made this in one day with a US 2.75 millimeter using the same yarn that I made this cardigan out of, the Illimani. And it is just this cute little baby hat. It has a really long brim, which took ages to do. So a very long brim, and then the baby hat, which flew by after doing all of that ribbing. I hate 1x1 ribbing, but everybody calls for it apparently. So this took up 22 grams and was about 96.2 yards that I used. It's gonna go obviously with this. I thought it would be really cute. The pattern says that you can go up 10 stitches for like each size. So the pattern was for a newborn 0 to 3. So I ended up going up 10 stitches, adding an inch to the hat, and making it hopefully for like a 3 to 6 months, since that's about the size that this will be fitting baby boy. Anything else? Nope. That's it. Super, just a little tiny baby hat. It was nice to make something quick and easy. And then the last finished object that I have to share with you is the Too Faced Toque by Emma L.K. I love this pattern. I have made this, I don't know how many times, like 6, 7 times. And I just absolutely love it. It's great stash busting. You can use the smallest amount of yarn to make this hat. I made the 0 to 3 size. I also used a US 3.25 millimeter, which I believe is what the pattern calls for. And I used scraps to make it. It took, in all, with both colors of yarn, it was about 15 grams. So this is the little hat. I really love it. Also, again, for baby boy, but this one he'll be able to wear a little bit earlier. I'm not too thrilled with the seam on this one. I don't feel like my others had a seam quite that noticeable. I'm not sure if it's because I used such a dark yarn for the main color, but the seam is kind of frustrating to me because you can obviously tell that that's the back and the seam. But yeah, here we have it. It's just a really fun little color work. I like it's knit one color, knit one the other color, and it's a fabulous pattern. I think the pattern actually goes up to adult sizing, but I've only ever made baby hats in it. But it's really great. It's also supposed to be reversible like this, but I don't think it looks that good reversible. So yeah, and I just tied the little, I don't know if you can see, yeah, I just tied the little bit right there because I didn't want to weave it all the way in. But that is my last finished object. So these are all going to head off to their new home this week. And I got her, she has 2 little boys already, and they are getting some Legos. So I'm excited to send that off to her and see her pictures of her baby boy in a couple weeks, or a couple months, hopefully not a couple weeks, a couple of months. But it was really fun to do just some little baby items that are quick and easy. Well, the cardigan wasn't easy, but the hats were quick and easy, so that was fun. So the one whip that I have, the work in progress, is kind of a spare the moment, saw the pattern, had to make it, cast on, which is not normally how I do things, but this year I've seemed to have been moving more towards that. But I'm really excited about this. It is going to be a gift from my niece, who I think is 2, if I'm right. I believe she's 2. She has to be 2. But yeah, so it's a really cute thing, and you're gonna love it. So I've had to do this 3 times because the dogs keep barking. So if I seem a little out of sorts, it's because of that. So anyways, what is the pattern, you might ask? So this is the seamless toddler dress, and I'm going to put the designer's name down here because I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, and I don't want to butcher it for her. So I'm just going to leave it there. But I am using 1 size larger needle for this because that's what I had my 16-inch cord in. I didn't have a size 2. I had a size 3, so I used size 3. I also did not swatch. I thought, this is for a toddler. It's gonna be fine. So that's what I did. Totally awful. But it's a US 3.25 millimeter needle. I'm making the size 3T, so it's gonna be a little big for her to begin with. I wanted it a little big so she can maybe get a little more wear out of it. But yeah, you ready to see it? So before I show you, let me tell you, the pattern that I saw, like the pattern photo I saw, was all scraps. There's also a solid color version, but the all scraps version was so cute. So I decided I had to make that one. So I asked my sister Sabra what the dog is pushing you. I'm sorry. I asked her what her daughter's favorite colors were, and she said pink, purple, and blue. And I was like, well, you know what? I got plenty of scraps for that. So I pulled out all my scraps that had those colors, and I had this in my Sophie, oh my god, Allport. Sophie Allport bag, and then also one of these snap bags from Jimmy Bean. And I just threw in a bunch of the scraps that I had, which I was using for the bluegrass anyways, so they were easy accessible. So I got those out, got them ready, cast on, and this is what I have so far. Oh my gosh, this is my first time seeing it like on screen, because that's so cute. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. So this is obviously the top. It started from right here, and then I would knit all the way up, and then last night I did the little 1x1, well, it was twisted rib on here, but this is what the back looks like, and I just love it so much. I'm trying to be as like random as possible with these colors. Pink's her favorite, so I thought that this one in the middle would be perfect, and then a lighter pink at the neck. I pick up the sleeves tonight, but I need to ask Sabra if she thinks she'd want short sleeves or long sleeves, and I plan to match the sleeves, I think. I also need to weave in all these ends because I didn't want to do the weave and Steven across the front. So I am going to be weaving these in before I do anything else, because I want that done and out of the way. But I'm really loving this. I do the sleeves, and then I pick up for the skirt, which I think is going to be really fun. And it just goes so fast because you're just ready to go to the next color. I'm doing anywhere between 2 rows of color and 5 rows, I think. I don't think I've done 6. I am probably going to be doing 6 on this very light pink that I started with right here, because I'm going to pick up with that same color and I wanted that to be like a pink color. So yeah, I'm really loving this. This will, God willing, be done next time, but that is my work in progress. It's such a fun little garment, and I'm loving making all the little baby things. We are really starting to get dark here. So hopefully I won't be rambling on for too much longer, but I'm going to combine a few things like acquisitions, future makes, and anything else that I think of in the next couple minutes into this one because I don't have very many. I didn't have any acquisitions until about 3 days ago. I met up with a new friend, Laurie, and we went to a lunch and then over to the local yarn store in Ogden, Utah, and it is the Needlepoint Joint. I had been there a long time ago when I first started knitting, and didn't really know what I was doing, picking out yarn. So this time when I went, I had a specific project in mind, and knew what I wanted to buy for and what I needed it for. So the pattern that I bought the yarn for, which I'll tell you about it in a minute, is I'll tell you about the yarn in a minute, is the new Wool and Pines pattern called Sundaze, which you can see right here. I saw this pattern and was like, oh my gosh, I want to make that. It's not something that I feel like I would normally wear. It is a cropped pattern. It has the macrame, I think, at the bottom. So I saw it and I was like, I want to make that. It's so cute. And then I sent it to Sabra, my sister, and was like, how cute is this? And I was like, I want to make it so bad. And she's like, well, I'll make it with you. So that gave me even more incentive to want to make it. So we are going to be making that. She just ordered some yarn and I just got my yarn. So hopefully next time I chat with you, this will be a work in progress and I'm really excited about it. I plan to wear a cami underneath it. I might make it a little longer than the pattern calls for. I don't know. And the yarn that I got is not exactly what I would normally pick for myself. But when I saw it, I kind of fell in love with it and was like, I need that yarn. Laurie was with me and I was like, what do you think? Do you think this washes me out? And she's like, I don't know your personality enough yet to tell you. And I was like, oh, I don't know. But the lady who works there was like, always go with your first gut because that's the one that you were drawn to. So I went with it. The dog's moving again. And I got it. So this yarn I have never used before. It's also not what the pattern calls for. The pattern calls for a cotton blend, and this is not a cotton blend. This is by Woolens, and I've never heard of them before, but the yarn's really squishy. In their perennial, I believe, base, I believe that's what it is, but it's a 60% superwash merino, 25% Surrey alpaca, and 15% nylon. It's so squishy. And the colorway is called Neon Coral. So this is the color. Oh my gosh. It is so bright. I love it so much though. I'm hoping that it's not gonna wash me out. But I've already bought it and committed to using it, so I'm gonna make it. But I love this color so much. I'm really excited to get it cast on. As soon as I finish the toddler dress, I'm gonna do a swatch and hopefully be casting it on. I have to wait for Sabra to get her yarn, which she got black and I got bright pink. It's really funny. She's like, it matches our personalities. But I don't know. I think she's pretty awesome, and I don't know if I'm this bright, so we'll see. But I'm really excited about these. I was really bummed at first because I didn't see anything right off that I thought I was going to want to make with it, and I haven't really been seeing anything online that was really drawing my eye. But then I went back and looked at their fingering again, and this one just stood out. So I was really happy to get that. So that was my acquisitions. I also had one other acquisition from there, and it was these buttons. I needed buttons for this baby cardigan, so I got these cute little buttons there as well, and that's what I got. So I was excited to find those, and to get those acquisitions, and soon to cast on the Sundaze because it is so pretty. And I think it's going to be a really fun make, and I think probably pretty quickly. I am also wanting to still make, let me bring it up here, the Plumeria by Wool and Pine. They're both Wool and Pine designs, and I'm wanting to make them both. So maybe next time I'll have both of those cast on, but we'll see. Okay, it's time for the July stash update, and it was a good one this month. I was really happy with how it turned out, and yeah, let's just go through it. So, used in projects that I took out of my stash were 2 skeins of yarn. I didn't destash or give away any. I didn't purchase any because those that I just purchased, that I just showed you, are actually from August, so they will go towards August, obviously. And then, so I took 2 skeins out, didn't add anything this month, which equals a total number of 49 in my skein. I'm -2, which is so great. I'm glad to see lots of minuses in the last few months, so that's good. And then in total, I finished 10 projects. So I had the 5 yarn cozies. I had, let me see, the Salty Air Tee, the Sock Week socks, my bluegrass shawl, and the baby cardigan, and then baby hat. So that's, did I say 10? Yeah, 10. I might have said 9. I don't know. Anyways, it's 10. I finished 10 projects, which equaled out to be 841.4 grams and 3,553.79 yards. So I'm really happy with that. I used up a lot in the scraps in this. So there were almost 350 grams of scraps used for the bluegrass, which obviously doesn't count as yards or as skeins coming out. But I'm really happy to be kind of dwindling down those remnants that I have. And I'm very happy that I don't know what I was saying. I already have one finished for this month in August, and I'm about to have a second one. So I'm already happy about that for this month. Is what I was trying to say, but didn't follow through on my thoughts very well. But yeah, that's the update. -2, 3,500 yards, and about 841 grams. A lot has transpired since the last time that I spoke to you. So we did a move from Washington State to Utah for Brian's new job, and that was 2 days after, or the day that the last podcast went up, so 2 days after I filmed, and it went well. It went so well. So thank you guys if you were sending us prayers and thinking about us. We had a great trip. It went so smoothly, and I am just praise God for that, because it was a question about if it was going to go well or not. But it was extremely hot once we got past once we got out of the PNW a little bit onto like Western Washington and Oregon. It was like 105 degrees. So we have the dogs and cats here in the camper when we move, and there's no AC in here, so it can get pretty hot. So we actually ended up leaving at 5. Did we leave at 5? We left at 5 a.m. both mornings that we traveled. And that's not something that I am used to. I am used to like maybe being asleep for an hour or two at 5 a.m., not getting up then. But we are so thankful that we did that. So we got to our first destination, I think around, it was 3 p.m. Mountain time. So we lost an hour going from Pacific to Mountain time. So it would have been 2 something our time that we were on. So we made really good time, got here. It was so hot in the camper. It was just so hot. Like the dogs were okay and everything, but then everything worked out. Like it was just hot when we were in here, and the dogs had hot breath and stuff like that. So it worked right. Then we decided we were going to do the same thing the next morning and get up at the same time, and try to get here to Utah as early as possible. We only had about a 4.5 hour drive. Is that right? Maybe it was like With stops, it ended up being about 6 hours. So I think we left at 5 and we got here at like 11:30, which was great. So we had everything unpacked. We came inside, we unpacked the house, and then later that night we put the fence up and did the rest of the things after it cooled down. And then the next day I promptly got sick, which you can probably hear that I am still a little sinusy and weird in my talking, but yeah. I told you guys last time that I felt it coming on, and it hit me really hard. It actually hit my daughter um, the day before we moved. She had a really sore throat and just felt awful. I felt so bad for her because we had to leave those days. It's not like we could wait. So I was really bummed that we had to travel with her feeling so bad. But then we got here pretty early and she was able to get some rest, so that was good. So then she shared it with me, and I shared it with my boys, and then Brian got it, and yeah, it just hasn't been. It's been it was a good week and a half that we felt awful. I haven't been that sick in quite a while. And I think it was just a combination of not getting the rest I needed and going a whole bunch of places and probably picking up some germs. But it was just a summer cold and it was just miserable for a while. And up until a few days ago, we hadn't just gone anywhere. Like we had just gone into the little town and, well, it's not a little town, it's a pretty big town. But we just went into like Ogden and did some shopping and ate a lot of food, a lot of Waffle Love, a lot of In and Out and Cheddar's because they have that here now. And yeah, so we're so thankful to be feeling better. We did end up driving around 2 days ago. I think it was 2 days ago. Yeah. So we drove around. We've lived here in Utah twice before. So once we lived down in Harriman, which is south of Salt Lake City. We are currently in the South Ogden area, or no, South Weber area. South Weber area, which is north of Salt Lake City. And then, so we lived south of Salt Lake City. Now we're living north of Salt Lake City. And then one other time we lived, what is it? Let me think. East of Salt Lake City? Is that east? It has to be east of Salt Lake City, in this tiny, tiny little town called Colville. So we drove back towards Colville and drove by there and then took the back way up this windy, crazy road to Park City, or it's actually through Park City to Brighton. And I'll pop in a few pictures here of Brighton. It's a beautiful area. We've been there many, many times. We love walking around. I believe it's Mirror Lake is what it's called, I think. And yeah, we just had a lot of fun doing that. And then we came back down through Salt Lake and took my 15 up and came back home. But yeah, it was a really fun day just driving around, seeing things that we've seen before that we love. And we saw a bald eagle. We did not see a moose though, and that is problematic because I am very much wanting to see a moose. I've wanted to see a moose every time we've been here, and I never have. Brian did see a moose when he was here without us a few weeks ago, like right before we moved. He had to come and do stuff, and he drove up to Brighton because he had time before his Airbnb was ready. And yeah, he was driving up the mountain, and I told him, you're not allowed to see a moose. You can do anything else, just don't see a moose. So he was up there walking around, and then I got pictures of a moose. I was not happy at all. I was like, the audacity of him seeing a moose without me. So rude. But yeah, we didn't see a moose when we went up there. But maybe one day I will see one. One day I want to see a wild moose. I don't think I've even seen a... Yeah, they don't have them in zoos. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. But yes. Oh, and if you want to see kind of... I didn't do a vlog for the move, but if you want to see kind of our trip and how it all went and all like that, then I do have an IG highlight that you can go back and see. I like Instagrammed the whole move, so you'll be able to see what that's like. And then it's been really hot here in Utah, very hot, more hot than it normally is. The first week and a half that we were here, it was over 100 degrees, which is not typical for Utah, but that's what we do. We do the unnormal, untypical thing is what we bring. It has started to cool down a little bit. It's been more in the 80s, which has been really, really nice. And I think it's supposed to be in the 90s next week. So we'll see. But I mentioned it earlier, our AC broke. We have 2 ACs in the fifth wheel, one here in the living room and then one in our bedroom. The one in our bedroom has been acting weird since the last summer when we were in Lubbock, Texas, and it finally just died. So yeah, that was fun. It's very expensive, but we have ordered a new one. We ordered that yesterday, and we're hoping that it comes in either Monday or Tuesday so that we can get that installed before it starts getting too terribly hot again. At night, it's not bad at all, but during the day, it's pretty unbearable back there. We have fans going and things, but it's just not fun. So, what else did I have to say? I did get to meet, I mentioned earlier, a new friend. So let me back up and talk about something else first. So this week has been really busy, and the reason why the podcast is late is because I've been so busy. Also, we drove around and did all those different things because we were finally starting to feel better. So I've been out of the house a little bit more. I was going to film yesterday, but that didn't work out very well. And I didn't want to rush it, so I was like, I'll just do it today. And here I am in the pitch blackness now. But yeah, I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, the reason I've been so busy this week, other than feeling better and doing things, is I help Natalie with Nitty Natty of the Love and Stitches membership. I help her that first week and first month, really, that we have new members join us, and that happened this week. So I've been very busy doing a lot of computer work, welcoming people, answering questions, and things like that. And through that, I met a new friend who lives just like 5 minutes away from where our campground is, Laurie, and we met up and had lunch and went to the yarn store this week. So that was a lot of fun. And it's good to have a new friend here, even though I am kind of missing all my Washington State friends. I hadn't had a group of friends like that, like from the membership or that I was able to see multiple times before. So they're a really special group, and I'm really grateful to have gotten to know them and hope to see them again in the future. But I think that leaves us with what I've been watching, because we need to wrap this up a little bit. So I feel like I haven't been watching a lot, but then I have been watching a lot. So I don't know. I finished last night. We actually finished Endeavor that I was talking about last podcast, the podcast before. I think it was the last one. But we finished that last night, and it was so good. And they also had like a making of kind of Endeavor Morse thing, and that we watched that as well, and it was really good. I love it. I love Sean Evans. I just think he's awesome, and excited to see what they do next. But I am gonna miss more Endeavor episodes. So then my husband and I have been running Wild, the challenge with Bear Grylls. It's always a fun one to watch. So been watching several of those, the new season, which I think comes on tomorrow, so that'll be good. It's a really good, mostly clean, like family show, so that's a good one to watch. I watched Sweet Magnolia season 3. I watched through the whole season. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good one. Ended the season really well, so can't say anything more about that, but that it was good. And then another one that I saw on Netflix and kind of just randomly started, I'm not even sure why, is Longmire. It's an older show. I think it came out in like 2017. But I had never seen it, so I started watching it and kind of really loved it. So I watched the first 2 seasons, and then I was like, Brian, you should try and watch this. So I got him to watch it. So we are currently watching season 1 again, and I have held off on starting season 3 until I can watch it with him. So it was a cliffhanger on that season 2, so I'm kind of wondering what happens. If you've seen it, you'll know. Please, no spoilers, because I know it's an old show, but we're really enjoying it, and it's been really, really good. And the main one of the main girls on there, Vic, is Bo-Katan from The Mandalorian, which is really cool. So it took me 3 episodes to figure that out, though. I was really disappointed with myself. But that makes it even more fun to see Bo-Katan on there. But yeah, that's all I've got for you today. We have completely gotten dark. I wonder how many people have walked by and seen me doing this. Oh dear. So next week we are moving spots real fast because apparently that's what we do now. We move spots a lot. So prayers that that goes smoothly on Friday. We're moving, I think, to the end of the row, opposite end. But we'll find out this week, I guess. Fingers crossed for that one. And I hope you guys have a great August. I hope you get lots of knitting and crocheting time in. Thanks so much for watching. I am getting so close to 1,000 subscribers, and I would absolutely love to get there soon. That would be like, that's like my main big goal, is to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you guys are enjoying this and you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button and the like button and all that jazz. It means the world. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye. I also forgot to mention that I do have a fully edited Victoria, BC vlog ready to go. I just need to do voiceover, and this voice hasn't been well enough to do it. So as soon as I can get that done, that will be coming up. It's like 9 minutes, so it's not big. And then I have one other vlog that completely needs to be edited, but I just haven't had the time to do it. So it will be coming eventually. But yeah, stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to the Wandering Purl podcast. My name is, this is the Seamless Toddler dress, and it is by Lavinia. Sorry, that's for me. Lavinia, the name right down here, because I cannot. Lavinia, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. So I'm just gonna put it on the screen for you so you can look it up, and I'll also have it linked down below. These dogs. I definitely wasn't going to make it that long. Daddy's in there. Sorry.